Hi guys, welcome to Math Today. So for Math Today, we're going to be using visuals to compare fractions. So what did we learn last time? Well, we learned that fractions are equal parts of a whole. Meaning, yeah, they're parts of a whole, but they're also equal parts. So if I have let's say a square like this, and somebody tries telling me that this is a fraction, I will say no, it's not, because they're not equal parts, okay? So that is important, but they are also parts of a whole. So here we have some equal parts, and that each part is part of that whole. And then we also learned that one piece of a fraction is called a fraction unit. So this guy right here, he's 1/4. This guy right here also represents 1/4, and so does this one, and so does this one. Altogether, they're 4/4, and I only have 1/4 shaded in, but if I shaded another fourth, it would be 2/4. But each little part is worth 1/4, okay? And then the numerator is how many pieces we have. So if I'm looking at this guy right here as an example, I have 3 pieces shaded in. Now keep in mind, on tests, it might ask you for the non-shaded in part. So just make sure that you read carefully. But anyways, the numerator is how many pieces I have. So I have those 3, and my denominator down, so it's the number that goes down, it's how many pieces the whole thing is cut into. Well, this whole thing is cut into 4 pieces, okay? So our learning target is I can compare 2 fractions using greater than, less than, and equal to symbols, or signs, sometimes they're referred to. And we're just going to do that by determining which model has the largest shaded in area, and then we'll insert our symbol, and then we'll name the fractions, and it's actually supposed to be fractions with an S, so I'm going to name each of them, and then I will just plug my symbol in, and I will have a fully written comparison statement, okay? And you'll see what that looks like in a second. So, again, I'm comparing 2 fractions using the less than, greater than, and equal to symbols. But before I can do that, there's a few things that I need to know. I need to know that equivalent means equal. And one way I remember that is they kind of start off the same, right? They start off the same, they kind of look like each other. So equivalent, equal, or same amount, okay? I also need to know that greater than means bigger than. Okay, so let's look at this guy. So I'm going to look, which one is bigger? 72, right? And remember the hungry alligator? Yeah, well, he's back. He's back, and he's hungrier than ever. So he wants to pick the number that is the biggest. And later, he'll pick the fraction that's the biggest. But right now, he wants to pick the number that's the biggest. So it would be 72, right? So 72 is greater than 23, okay? Now let's look at this next one. I have less than or smaller than. Which number is the smallest? 90, right? And remember, my alligator, he's hungry. He doesn't want a small little snack. He wants a big meal. So he's not going to eat 90. He's actually going to eat 99. But how I would read this is 90 is less than 99, okay? So less than just means smaller, and greater than means bigger, okay? And equivalent, equal, or same. So now let's look at this guy right here. We need to figure out how to do that for our fractions. And fractions are very similar, but it is very important that I look at how much of the area is shaded in and not just at the number, okay? So my first job is to determine which model has the largest shaded area. So I'm going to do that now. I'm looking. This is about half colored in, and this guy is also about half colored in. I think they might actually be the same. Do you remember how it happens what symbol I would use if something is the same? Same. Oh, equal, right? Remember, another way to remember is my alligator looks to the right, he looks to the left. He can't decide. So it's an equal sign there, okay? So I'm going to put in my equal sign. And I already inserted, when I decided they were the same, I just insert my symbol. And now I need to name these fractions. I got to remember, okay, so the denominator down, and that's how many chunks it's cut into. The numerator, that one goes up because the denominator goes down, right? And it's how many pieces are shaded in. Okay, so I'm going to look. How many pieces are shaded in this first one? 4, right? And how many pieces is this first one cut into? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pieces, okay? Now I'm going to look at this next one. I also need to write the fraction for that one. So I'm going to look at this guy. How many pieces are shaded in? 1. And how many pieces are there in total? 1, 2. So now I've written both fraction names, and now I just need to write my comparison statement. So all I need to do is take this little symbol and pop it in there. Boom, I'm done. I wrote a comparison statement. You'll also notice, and something I really want you to pay attention to, I had 4 8s. 4 sounds like a lot more than 1, right? But was it really? No. They were the same amount. And I knew that because I was looking at the model and not just how many pieces were colored in. So let's try some together. Again, I'm going to compare two fractions using the greater than, less than, and equal to symbols, okay? So this first one, I need to determine which model is bigger. Which one is bigger? Okay. Well, which one has the most area shaded in? Okay, hopefully you said this guy right here. So now I need to insert my symbol. So my hungry alligator, well, he's hungry. I just said it. So which one is he going to want to eat? This one. So his mouth's going to be open towards that. Okay. Now I need to name my fractions. Okay. So first, how many pieces are colored in this first one? Well, I see 1, 2, 3, right? And then how many pieces are there in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 pieces. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the next fraction. How many pieces are colored in? 4. How many pieces are there in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5. And then in order to make it a comparison statement, I just need to move my symbol. So I know that 3/5 is smaller than 4/5, okay? Or less than 4/5. So that is how you do a comparison statement. Now you'll notice that this one, 4 did end up being bigger than 3, but that won't always be the case. The only reason that was the case was because they shared the same denominator. So there was as many pieces cut up. But again, that won't be the case, and actually for the majority of today's lesson, it won't be the case. So make sure that you're paying attention to how much area is colored in. Okay, let's do this next one. So I need to determine which model has the largest shaded area. Okay, so I'm thinking to myself, which one has the most shaded in? Well, this one is about half, and if this were half, it would look like that, but it doesn't. It has less than half. So what do you guys think? Think to yourself, which one's bigger? This one, right? Yeah. Okay, so now I need to insert my symbol. So my alligator, he's hungry, he wants the biggest piece. So go ahead and on a piece of paper or whatever you're writing things down or planning on writing things down on today, write the symbol. Which symbol should I use? Okay, well, my alligator's hungry. His big old mouth's going to be pointing towards the biggest fraction. Now I need to name both of these fractions, so I'm going to think to myself how much of this first one is shaded in. 1. How many pieces are there in total? 1, 2. Boom. Okay, so go ahead and write down 1/2 if you haven't already. And now I'm going to move on to my next one. Okay, so go ahead and write down how many shaded parts you see in this next one. You should see 1, right? And then how many pieces is that cut into? Go ahead and write it down. If you need more time, pause the video. 1, 2, 3. It's cut into 3 pieces. You'll notice that the numerator, the top number, is the same amount, 1 and 1. But we know, because we looked at the visual, that's not the case. 1 is actually bigger. So in order to write my comparison statement or finish it off, I need to just move my symbol. So I know that 1/2 is greater than 1/3. That is my comparison statement right there. And that's really what I'm looking for today, is your answers to look like this, okay? So these ones, I'm going to have you start to take over. I'm going to walk you through each of the steps of this first one, but you're going to do it first. You're going to pause the video when I ask you to and make sure that you're doing it. So right now, for this first one, I want you to pause the video and think to yourself which one is bigger. Okay, so you should have determined which one is bigger. If you haven't, again, pause the video now. This guy's bigger, right? So now I want you to pause the video again and determine which symbol should I use. Okay, if you haven't paused the video, go ahead and do it now. You should say this symbol, right? Because my alligator's hungry, he wants to eat the biggest one. Now, pause the video and name both of those fractions. Well, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces colored in, okay, out of 10, because there's only one not colored in, so I just added 1. And then this other guy, he has 1 colored in out of 2. And my denominator goes down again, so my bigger number is on the bottom for these. So then, I want you to pause the video and finish off this comparison statement. What am I missing? I'm missing this guy right here. So this is my answer, and again, this is what I'm going to be looking for today on today's exit ticket later on, okay? Let's do number 2 here, okay? So go ahead, pause the video, and I want to see if you can figure out which one is the biggest and what symbol to use. So go ahead and pause the video. Well, I'm looking at this and I'm saying neither of them are big. It's both about half. And so then I know I need to use the equal symbol, right? Because they're the same. So now I want you to pause the video and go ahead, name both of the fractions and finish your comparison statement. So this guy, he has 3 colored in out of 6. And this one here has 1 colored in out of 2. You would think that 3 would be bigger than 1, but in this case, they're actually equal. So I'm just going to drop that guy down. I have an equal sign. This is my comparison statement. I'm done now. Okay. Now, for number 3, I want you to go ahead and try every single step on your own. So go ahead, pause the video, see if you can figure out what the comparison statement should be. Okay, so I'm going to determine which is the biggest. I'm looking at this, and I think they're very similar in size. But I think this one's just a little bit bigger. Like if it colored in 1 more, I think they would be the same. But that's not the case. So I think this one is bigger. So I'm going to put this sign, the symbol. Okay, and then I'm going to count how many pieces I have colored in. I have 3 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 8. So I'm going to write 3 8s. And then I'm going to look at this next one. How many pieces do I have colored in that one? 3. Out of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I just drop in that symbol. There's my comparison statement. Okay, so this is still you try first time. So what do I want you to do? Well, I want you to try this first one by yourself, and then when you're done, hit play, okay? And check and see if you were right. When I'm looking at this, again, pause the video if you haven't already completed it. I'm thinking to myself, they look pretty similar, but I noticed that it has like that extra little bit colored in on this one. I know it's kind of flip-flopped, but in my brain, there's just like this, it's almost like a square, it's a right angle here, and that's not a right angle. So I think this one is bigger, the one right there. So I think I'm going to use this symbol. And then 3 parts are shaded in out of how many? 4. And this next one I'm looking at, and I see, okay, there's 2 parts shaded in out of 3, and I just need to write my symbol, and I'm done. Let's go ahead and do number 2. So pause the video and try to complete number 2 by yourself. Okay, hopefully you figured out that this guy right here is definitely the biggest one, right? And so my alligator's mouth is going to point towards him. And then I'm going to write my fractions. Well, 2 out of 5 are colored in, and here 4 out of 5 are colored in, and I just drop down my symbol. Here's my comparison statement. Boom. Okay, let's jump up here to number 4, okay? So go ahead, pause the video, and solve number 4. Okay, so I'm looking at this, and I notice that there's 7 pieces colored in out of 8. Oops, I forgot my symbol. This one's definitely bigger, right? Okay, and then over here it's got 6 out of 8. This one's bigger. Here's my comparison statement. Okay, so now let's look at this last one, okay, number 5 here. So go ahead and try to solve this one on your own. Okay, I'm looking at this, and I think this guy has more colored in. Yeah, it's almost half, but not quite, and this one's almost a fourth, but a little bit over. So I think that one's bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, there's 7 pieces. How many are colored in? Well, there's 3 colored in, so I'm going to write that. And then here I have 3 colored in out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, and this guy is bigger. We already determined that. Just drop my symbol in, okay? So now you guys are going to do your exit ticket. So here's number 1. Again, make sure that you're writing out a complete comparison statement. So that way I don't have to say, hey, you need to go name the fractions and put the symbol in the middle, okay? You need to do all of the steps. The steps are right here if you forget, okay? So go ahead and start working on solving those 3 problems for your exit ticket. If you have any questions or need any help, please reach out to myself or Mr. Davison. When you are done, please make sure you Zoom us so we can tell you, yes, you can compare 2 fractions using greater than, less than, and equal symbols.